Hi, today I'm going to show you how to enter expenses into your QuickBooks software. So as we know, if you have your bank feed enabled with the software, all the transactions that come through your bank, you can categorize directly from your live bank feed, nice and simply. But what about other transactions? For example, if you pay for something from your petty cash, that doesn't come through the bank. So you can easily see how that would be excluded, and it is important to make sure that every transaction of your business is entered within your accounting software. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And another reason you might want to use this is if, for example, a transaction is coming through the bank. Say, for example, I know we don't do it so often these days, but if you write a check, that can be quite a little bit of a delay before it actually comes through the bank feed. And you might want to show it straight away in your accounts. So you could enter the transaction manually. And then once the transaction comes through to the bank feed, you can just match it up with that manually entered transaction rather than categorizing it directly. So into your QuickBooks dashboard, and we're just going to use our quick sort of new entry button, which makes things nice and simple for us in QuickBooks. And we're going to select under suppliers the expense. So let's imagine, for example, that we've paid for some fuel from our petty cash, and that's what we want to enter today because it's not going to come through on the bank feed, but it is important to have that transaction accounted for as an expense of the business, and if you're VAT registered, to reclaim any VAT if applicable. So what I normally suggest with fuel stations is rather than having every individual fuel station listed as a supplier or a payee, just simply have one that's called fuel station, and that just makes life a little bit easier and keeps things nice and tidy. So then it comes to the payment account. So in this scenario, we're looking to enter something that we've paid for from our petty cash. So we simply select the petty cash account in the payment account. If we were looking to enter a manual transaction that is actually going to come through the bank, we would obviously select the appropriate account there. So enter your payment date. This would be what is ever on the receipt that's in front of you. And it's important that you remember to change the date to the date of the transaction, not to today's date, which will be defaulted to, particularly if you've had the receipt for a little while. That's really important. So very similar to the other screens that we enter into QuickBooks, everything is just finding where you go, but once you get there, the format is the same. It's all what you're familiar with. So we're going to choose our category for the transaction, so that categorizes it within the accounts. And if I can type there, we'll get there. And you may want to put a description, and you can actually also attach the receipt if you want to, or there is a different way that you can do that within QuickBooks, which is receipt capture, which we'll cover in a different guidance video. So you're going to look at the amount. So let's say we spent £30. In this scenario, let's say we're not VAT registered, but if you're VAT registered, you know what to do. You put the VAT and make sure that it matches the amount that's on the receipt, because you're always going to have the receipt in front of you, your supporting documentation, which you're going to then file if it's not attached to the expense. And then simply save and close, and then that is there within your software. So a quick look there at how to enter an expense in your QuickBooks software. And as I mentioned earlier, in a different video, I will show you receipt capture, which is now part of your QuickBooks subscription, that does make things a little bit easier in both keeping and not losing your receipts and getting them into your software. But that's how you will enter that transaction manually. Thank you for watching. Bye.